tattoo. I'm not a tattoo kind of gal.
Okay.
Okay. Let's stick to what I'm talking about and don't ever mind about me in my life.
This tattoo thing is part of the marketing
yes,
too.
Yes, it is, but tattoos are also, you don't have to get a permanent one. You can get, just
it's good for the kids to start to use the temporary ones.
Temporary ones, yeah. So anyway, pester power is the top strategy. Another strategy that marketers use from these companies is they actually employ psychologists to examine children and get into what makes them tick. Things like their emotional needs, their behavioral patterns, their developmental stages, and their social needs. And they analyze all this data and then spill it back. And so that gives the marketers power to know what the kids want. And you know what? They even study their dreams. I thought that was very interesting, to have all this collected data in order to be able to sell.
That's great. What have they learned?
Well, they learned that, things are like popularity, very superficial values. That's what's being passed on here, is very, very, very superficial values. And that's why there's problems, but we're going to get to that in a minute. The third big strategy, as I already mentioned, is the brand building strategy. Now, this is really huge. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that a lot of production is now done in China and offshore places where production is very cheap. So there's a lot of cost saved. So now that savings can be transferred into the advertising budget.
Right.
And because of that, they can really build the brand. Like I mentioned, babies at 6 months already know how to define logos and mascots. And by 2 years old, they have brand loyalty to products.
That's
already.
Good. Finally.
The fourth really big strategy is called buzz or street marketing. Okay. And this is where products are deliberately put into the cool kids, given to them. So because the idea is, well, if the cool kids have it, then, that's going to spread the word. And all the kids are going to want that. So these are people, they are paying these cool kids to have this influence, to wear these products.
This is why kids should work really hard to be extra cool. That way they can get stuff for free. Good, cool stuff.
Yeah, well, if you think that that's okay, because then you have to understand that kids are now coming home from the schoolyard telling the parents who don't have always the money to buy all these things, I need this too.
Yes.
If I don't have this, I'm not cool. I'm not going to be accepted.
So what are the ramifications of all this, Janette?
Well, the ramifications are that there's a lot of low self-esteem amongst children, boys and girls. There's the fact that they don't think they're worthy enough, or they can't measure up because they don't have the income to support it. There's a lot of health issues because the fast food, which another strategy in the fast food is to actually, it's called commercialization and education. But did you know that McDonald's and KFC scout locations that are directly near schools and even set up inside schools so the kids will eat? But I should also point out that there's healthier options too, like there's Campbell's has an incentive, Pizza has an incentive with reading. To get free pizza and when you measure your reading goals. Kraft has an incentive with a healthy eating kit. There's been a push in schools to have healthier options, but because schools lack funding, they're happy also to accept advertising from corporations who can help them reach their goals. And I'm talking about advertising on computers, in billboards, in the classrooms, as well as throughout the school, sponsorship of days, sponsorship of events, and other incentives that are your paid sponsorships to get this type of thing. So the ramifications on the health factor is, while there are healthier options being presented, and you do see this in McDonald's and every fast food store, there's still a lot of concern about health issues, because children today are quite overweight. They are being reared on fast food. That's their preferences, and sweets. And they're getting type 2 diabetes at a very early age, which, is serious. It's causing a lot of problems in our country and our health system. for the fact that diabetes, once you have it, you'll have it forever. You know, it has to be treated. And if it continues to go untreated as type 2, it will become type 1, and then you'll become insulin dependent. So the thing is, I want to say that in fairness, the truth is that kids are very turned on by the toys and the sports incentives that are part of these Happy Meals and what have you. And that the Happy Meals, even though they might be, you know, with an apple juice or apples on the side or whatever, they still may be served with a sugary drink or fries, which is kind of counterproductive in the health question. And I think that, you know, while inroads have been laid, it's not enough. I also think that kids get drawn into fast food places because of the environment, the fun, the playground, and that when they're there, they often choose to eat the hamburger or whatever, which is fried usually.
I know I would.
And the white bun over the healthier stuff. But here's where the parents have to step in, right? Because a parent also is giving in a lot and saying, well, my kid likes this. The fact is, if you're concerned about your child and what they're eating, then you have to teach your children how to eat better. And that starts with you, because the parent is the one who provides the food for the child, right? Whatever you're putting on your table, if you're choosing not to eat at home and you're choosing to eat out all the time, what are you ordering for your child? When you step into these restaurants, what are you ordering for them, right? So while it's true that, you know, there is an incentive in these meal deals, packs, it's also true that they can only do so much. Ultimately, it is a parent's responsibility too, and they have to step in. Then the last strategy I wanted to mention was actually two, is the internet, okay? Because the internet's huge. And the internet is what really helps these marketers and advertisers to reach children, because the internet is unsupervised and they can basically put whatever they want in there. And that can be violence, that can be sex, that can be whatever. Do you know that most kids who go on the internet are not do so without the supervision of a parent, and this happens every single day. So they're getting all this information. It's a youth active society, and not only that, kids right up to teenagers, they are very in tune to the internet. They're raised with it. They know how to use it. They know how to work it. They know how to manipulate it, and they know how to find what they're looking for. And the ads are there. They're there all over in every pop-ups and you know, pay-per-clicks, whatever. They're all there. It's all being presented to them. And then I guess my last point in strategy is that there's this whole thing about using adult content to market to kids, and we mentioned about Disney being guilty of that they're being perceived to be too sexy. Violence is another problem, and this is all happening through music, videos, and movies, many of which movies are, they have like the 18 plus
yeah, what's going on there,
tab
Janette?
on them, but it's really, really marketed to kids, because they know that 17 and younger are the ones that are going to be clamoring to go. And what happens is, you know, they're getting a lot of messages around being an adult too soon, so they're not really living childhood anymore because they're being infiltrated with these violent and sexual messages. And there is an argument as to, you know, well, is this going to make them act out, particularly the violent side? There's a rise of pressure in society, stress, mental illness. You see these things on TV now where, you know, this young boy, he killed his brother because he was affected by Dexter. He killed his little brother. He was 17 years old. So there are some serious ramifications to be looking at. Now, granted, that's a rarity. It may not happen all the time. And the kid who is now in jail, he went to police, he turned himself in, and he said he needed help. That he was also influenced by the Twilight movies. And so, you know, maybe he was smart enough to recognize he needs help. Maybe it's not going to infiltrate every child's brain that way, where they're going to act out to that extent. But with it being out there so often and being repeatedly shown, it's, you know, hard to say over a long-term period, how long will it take before there's more incidences of these? You know,
maybe if we had more shows like Dexter, we could, you know, get used to it and immunize ourselves from this.
No, but the
thing.
fact is that we don't get used to it. It becomes part of us. It becomes part of our thinking, our society, our acting, and that's really the issue. Even things like, well, like Disney has Miley Cyrus and the whole Hannah Montana thing. There's a lot of problems there. Like her father, Billy Ray, speaking out saying that ruined their family because of what it made her into and how she became too mature too fast and too sexy too soon, and what is the ramifications of all this?
You know what I heard he got an achy breaky heart.
Yeah, well, he does. The whole family split up. So some of the things that are the ramifications are, we've talked about it a little bit, but I wanted to add that, depression, the fact that, we get the impression that materialism is the values. Families aren't spending time together the way they used to. They're exchanging that for buying goods and shopping. There's a lot of obesity. There's a guilt complex. A lot of parents have guilt complex because they're busy working. They don't have enough time with their kids. They make it up by buying them things. That's also true because a lot of parents are divorced. And when, they have their time with their kids, they want the kids to really like them or value whatever, they buy the kid off with a lot more materialistic goods. And kids know that and they know how to play it. So
what can be done about all this, Janette?
Well, what can be done about it is, again, you're the parent. You get to set the rules. And that's the thing. A lot of the kids are setting the rules. Whereas it used to be the parents setting the rules. It's the kids determining, what should we buy and, how much should we have. But the fact of the matter is consumption is up to the parent. You're still the adult in this, right? I also think, though, that some parents who, particularly affluent parents, they enjoy being able to give their kids all these materialistic things. They think that they have a value to that. They think that it's a status symbol. Look, it shows that we're doing very well, that we're very successful, and that we can have everything. And that's great. But materialism is also a void in a person's life. And I think that you see that also in Hollywood, particularly in the Beverly Hills, that these kids like Paris Hilton, that they're raised so much on materialism that that's what their values are about, and they're empty. They don't feel, they may act like they think they have it all, but maybe they truthfully deep down inside feel that they don't, and that's why they suffer, mental illness, low self-esteem, and what have you. And that's really what you have to think about.
Well, maybe some smart marketer somewhere someday will come up with a product that will fill that empty hole once and for all.
Maybe, or maybe, there'll be a continuation to push marketers to stop manipulating kids using these tactics.
All
okay?
Right. Okay, Janette.
Thank you.
Great. Very exciting, insightful. And do you want to give contact info if people want to get in touch with you?
Well, I basically would like women, fempreneurs and mompreneurs to contact me who are struggling with their marketing, struggling to win and keep clients, attract clients, and increase their revenues. I'd love to help you. I'm Janette Burke, your marketing magnet, 905-882-6893, extension 1. My website is www.yourmarketingmagnet.com. And to learn a little bit more about my one-to-one and group programs, you can click on the Work with Janette section. It has the different programs there. Ask Janette, the Magnetic Marketing Femtour Circle, and the Marketing Goddess Intensive packages.
Goddess Intensive,
yes,
that sounds awesome.
And that's all designed to help women live better lives and market their business better, implementing proven systems.
Now all you have to do is start marketing to children.
I'd like to help women market themselves in a great way. Personally, I don't want to manipulate children. I think they're, you might think it's great to sell children because it makes billions of dollars, but I think there's serious ramifications. I'm not belittling their marketing tactics because those tactics are used on adults too. I would like to help with marketing, not necessarily to reach children.
Okay. All right. Great. So let's take a little break. We're going to come back with Randy Newman and Mark Littman right after this.
Okay.
As Liquid Lunch continues.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Okay.
I don't have time to take it nice and slow. I'm in a hurry, I'll get that to go.